Welcome to There is a Method to the Madness. My name is Rob Maxwell. I'm an exercise physiologist and personal trainer. I'm the owner of Maxwell's Fitness Programs, and I've been in business since 1994. The purpose of this podcast is to get to the real deal of what really works and, most importantly, why things work. Today we're going to talk about some fun things, and I'm just going to have to leave you in suspense. You will see soon enough. You saw the title. Before I get to that, let me thank Jonathan and Lynn Gilden of the Gilden Group at Realty Pros. They are committed to providing the highest level of customer service in home sales, and they have the reviews and they have the sales to back that up. So please give them a shout at 386-451-2412. So I've been doing this, as I said in the introduction, since 1994. Man, that is 30 years. And that's like really cool. If you would have asked me 30 years ago, would I still be doing this? I'd be like, I seriously doubt it. Like, I didn't know, where my next clients were going to come from. And I just built piece by piece. And it's been a cool thing. And I love the health and fitness industry. I mean, as I've said before, it's my hobby and it's my career and I enjoy it. And, I was speaking with a client this morning on a subject matter, and I said, I think I use my psychology degree more than my exercise physiology degree. And most people, when I say that, look at me and say, yeah, that's probably true. And it really is true. I mean, like working in this industry, you have to know how to work with people. It's the science. I don't know, I don't want to discount it, but it's not as complicated as some people will have you lead to believe. I mean, there's a lot of science in it, which is good, and that's really improved what we know about health and fitness and everything. But once you learn it, it's pretty standard. But getting people to do what they ultimately want to do, like if anybody hires any form of a professional to help them get fit, then, they do want to get better. And like most people, it's hard for them to get better. So they're asking for help, but they do want to get better. So you have to know how to work with people to do that. And the topic came up about how some people always have something to say on the internet, on social media about working out. Somebody will always say something. And, I said to the person, I said, I wouldn't even comment, whatever. There's absolutely nothing to defend. And I spoke about little different situations where I've had. And, they brought a good point. They said that, maybe to educate people, you tell them why certain things are. And it's it's a very fair, valid point. But at the same time, it's I've been doing this so long that in my opinion, sometimes negative reinforcement is best. And what that means is ignoring people, don't give them the microphone. A lot of people just literally want to have something to say, even though they don't really know about what they're talking about. And I can give an example of this. I guess he's a friend of mine. I've known him forever. And this isn't about anything fitness, but I just know no matter what I post or somebody in my family posts, he's going to say something. It doesn't matter what it is. He's going to say something. And it's always going to be sarcastic and it's always going to be stupid, essentially, trying to get laughs, which he never gets. And, it's just in the past, say something back or ha ha. And it's I just ignore him. It's there's no point. And again, that's not about fitness. It's just an example of that. This is just kind of what people do. And, I'm very fortunate. I've been doing this a long time. So I've worked in this industry a long time, and I've gotten to know some of the best, brightest minds in the health and fitness world in the country, where I get to go and talk with people and get to know them a little bit. And, we all kind of say the same thing all the time. And topics like this do come up. in the earlier days, because it still goes on a little bit, but in the earlier days, kind of before social media, so kind of like before 2008 or whatever, the topics like that would come up in the gym. In other words, we would talk about how there are those trainers who are at the gym trying to get clients, trying to poach clients or whatever, that are just independent contractors or just people working out in general that think they're know-it-alls. And they would go up and say things to people on the general fitness floor that are working out. They might see something in their form that they didn't like, or they might see a training technique they didn't like, whatever. It's just not minding their own business. Like they're just either saying something because they want to show their worth and how do I pick this client up, or they're just trying to show their ass and be like, I know this, you should do this. And essentially it's not minding their own business. And we used to say in that world, like the only time it's really ever appropriate for people to say anything is, first off, almost never. And secondly, if it's a younger person potentially going to hurt themselves, like they load up all this weight on a squat rack and you're watching them going, man, I don't know if that's a good idea. I mean, situations like that. But like if you see somebody doing a bent row and they're not bent over far enough, or you see somebody like moving their neck around like they probably shouldn't in an ideal world or whatever, like you don't say anything. Like only hacks say something. Only people who are clueless, bored, and have the inability to mind their own business would say something to somebody in a gym. I mean, I look around and I notice different things and I just kind of, I don't know. I just stay in my bubble. I mind my own business. It's like, we don't know why people are doing things. Like we really don't. You're taking a snippet of a situation. Like you might see a person for the first time doing an exercise at a gym and you've seen them once and this is the only time. You have no idea if their form is greatly improved from 6 months ago. Like you have no idea, or you have no idea why they might be doing something a certain way. So really, unless somebody asks you for advice, they're not going to, I mean, most of the time or ever, you keep your mouth shut. So that's the old days. And we used to talk about that and we'd all shake our heads and go, oh yeah, there's this guy at the gym. He, everywhere I go, he's saying stuff to people. And I could just tell like people see him coming and they just dodge him, But now we see a lot more of it on social media because it's easier. You don't have to like walk up to somebody and say something. And, I post videos all the time. I've been doing this like a really long time. So let me give you a great example of a scenario like this. This happened a long time ago. So this has nothing to do with like anything, super up to date, but it just got me thinking when I was talking to this client about stuff like this. Cause they like to post exercise videos here and there, and there's always somebody that's got something to say. So, I posted a video before of a guy who I work with and, I'm not going to say, a whole lot here. I don't want to embarrass this person. I don't know if they listen. I don't want to embarrass them in any way, shape or form, but let's just say that, they're younger and they've struggled with their weight. I mean, they've ballooned up and down in their weight. It's hard for them, and genetically, it's not easy for them. They really work at it. They really do. They work at it. And if anybody knows, like as long as you're working at it, man, like cut people some slack. And he goes to the gym, and so we worked on specific weight loss stuff for a while, and then it's like, okay, let's build some self-esteem. Let's build some confidence. Let's get this person wanting to go to the gym. Let's get them looking forward to go to the gym. So we got into doing some bench pressing, and his strength levels went up greatly, and he really got proud of himself when he reached a certain milestone in his bench press. And then he reached another one and another one. So I would post pictures and videos and stuff of him benching, because I know he followed on social media. It made him feel good. And, 9 out of 10 people, 99 out of 100 people just, oh, well, great, good job. And I remember somebody saying something to me. They said that, he's pretty overweight. Maybe he shouldn't be benching. Maybe he should be jogging and, watching his diet and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, are you freaking kidding me? Like, number one, you're going to say this on social media. that is absolutely ridiculous. And number two, like, you're taking a snippet in time that you have no concept what the hell is even going on. Like, I'm an exercise physiologist, man. I've been doing this a really, really long time. I can break science down with anybody. I could talk to you about the Krebs cycle, kinesiology, you name it, let's go. It's like, no, like, this isn't a matter of he's not doing what he should be doing to lose weight. This is a matter of somebody who I've known since they were born, basically. I know his parents, and it's like, he has struggled his adolescent life and now into his early 20s with weight. And it's like, this is a kid that finally feels good about himself, man. And it's like, not everything is about losing weight all the time. And the last thing I want to do is discourage anybody from wanting to go to the gym. And that's the main message of this podcast I want you to walk away with, is that, some estimates say that only 7% of our population is on a sustainable exercise program. That figure might be a little low. I've seen it that low. Most I've seen say somewhere around 20% of the people exercise enough to get benefits. So that's 80% that don't. I mean, we're going to say something about anybody going to the gym. We're going to just sit back and go, oh, maybe they should do this. Oh, you should be doing that. And like in the case of a scenario that happened more recently, somebody says something about somebody's speed of movement, and here they are doing a finisher set at the end with a young person. And, it's really the main objective of all that was to get the young person to do it with them. So like they have like this little cool workout moment, like that's the snippet of time. Like, that's what's important. And like whether they're going fast or not, full range of motion. I mean, seriously, it's like the end of a workout. You have no idea what somebody has been doing the entire time that they're working out. And I know people that won't post stuff because of that, because they're like, oh, this person's not showing great form. It's like, I don't care. You know what I mean? It's like, come into my gym and judge my techniques all you want to. I mean, you have no clue what you're looking at right now. And sometimes, social media is too filtered, and it's, too staged. And it's like, some of the best moments are like when you catch like a mom and son or a mom and daughter, working out, and somebody's going to say, oh, they should be using more weight. They should hold more weight. I'm like, seriously? I mean, one of them just worked out for like 30 minutes intensely, and now they're doing a little burnout set. And by the way, like, physiologically speaking, there's such a thing called the velocity curve, if we want to get scientific here. And the velocity curve states that there's two ways to recruit fast twitch muscle fiber in the best way. And one way is to go to muscular failure. Another way is to do repetitions quicker with lighter loads. It creates a burn. So it's like when somebody's kind of repping out at the end with light weight, I mean, a lot of times it's for that burnout purposes. Like, there's a reason for it. And people aren't going to typically get hurt by doing lighter loads fast, I mean, sure, heavy loads. But anyway, that like doesn't even need an explanation. I mean, don't take a snippet of what you see somebody doing at the gym and say something. And, it's always the people that think they know something. Maybe they work out somewhere else, or maybe they've had a lot of experience working out. That's usually what it is. And it's them trying to feel better. It's that ego thing. That's just such a mistake, So one thing I'll wrap this up by saying is, you don't have to worry about that. Like with me, I'm not going to take the best of and post it. Like, sometimes it'll be the worst of, like, because, somebody will say, oh man, don't post that. Look at my face. It's like, oh, come on, man. Who cares? So it's like, you don't know why people do things. You have no concept of why you do things. I said I was going to wrap up, but I did have something else on this subject. The famous influencers are real bad about this too, in that they try to make everything out to be like the perfect world of working out. Like, this person should do this and this person should do that. And I had another client once who follows a couple of them, and I said to them once, I said, the problem is that these fitness influencers, the famous ones, aren't in the trenches. They're not working with people. Like, they don't know that a person with like ADHD is going to really struggle with keeping a constant tempo when they work out. And they might even vary in their range of motion because they lose focus and forget to lock out. So you can sit there and hammer them to death with, I said lock out, and make working out for them like really miserable. Or you can understand that like they get it, you know it, you're keeping them safe, they're not getting hurt. That's always been the thing I've always said. If somebody's not getting hurt and you know them, you can get away with doing a lot different things with them that you don't necessarily have to do perfect. I remember another scenario of a person who was doing push-ups once, and I did a video of him, and he wasn't getting his butt all the way up, and it's like somebody makes this comment to me. I'm like, you know what? You don't know him. Like, get off his back. You have no idea why he was doing it that way. You're going to sit there and tell me I don't know how to make sure he does his push-up right, or if he's been training with me 9 years, he doesn't know how. It's like, give me a freaking break. Like, these people that don't work with people, and sometimes the influencers are real bad about that. They'll say, you got to do this. You got to pause for 1 second for the isometric contraction, go back 3 seconds on the eccentric, push out 2 seconds on the concentric, make sure their back is staying perfectly flat. Yeah, I get all that. And I do that with myself because I have good form and it works with me. Some people are OCD, so not the perfect workout way is going to work with them. Some people are ADHD and they really have a hard time focusing. So it's like, so you're supposed to hammer them with that constantly. I mean, it's really just ridiculous. So what I want you to do, all my consumers of this podcast, and most of you are all really into fitness or you wouldn't be listening, is like when you see stuff with people doing stuff at the gym, 2 things to do. Compliment them and say, great work, or say nothing. Like, I never criticize another training establishment. I never do that. I don't take a snippet of what I see and then all of a sudden draw a conclusion that that's what they do. And, people, of course, do that in the news cycle all the time, right? They'll take one sentence out of somebody's speech and then totally just go off the rails on it. It's like, we can't do that. Like, we have to be better as people too, right? Like, we have to be better all the way around. People talk about, division and all. Yeah, there's a ton of division. And, we don't do a very good job in our own circles on social media. Like, there needs to be no division. Like, you see people working out, don't judge them, congratulate them. If they're posting it, that means that they want a little bit of a pat on the back, possibly, or they're doing it for somebody else. Typically, I'll post stuff for other people, but whatever it is, just say good work, quit trolling people, whatever the scenario is, just like say something nice or don't say anything at all, right? I mean, isn't that the thing we were all taught? So that's my little rant on that today. Again, I hate to sound like a broken record, but for whoever you follow, whether they do triathlons or maybe they're into CrossFit or maybe they go to a trainer or maybe they box, maybe they're into mixed martial arts, whatever, cycle, row. I mean, I'm naming all these things of people I know that they do, and they'll post things sometimes. Say something nice. Congratulate them for doing it, man. Like I said, less than 20% of our country works out enough to get results. I mean, let's not discourage people from going to the gym. Let's encourage them. And we have no idea why they're there. We have no idea. We have no idea. No idea what they're doing. So don't try to take a quick little snippet of what they do and draw conclusions. All right? All right. I mean, if you do it with me, go for it. I mean, if you want to like call me up and, talk about it, absolutely. I'd love to debate with you on any particular matter, but don't do it to other people. Like they don't need it. Just say something nice, keep moving. Don't be judgmental, and let's all try to be better. All right. Speaking of being better. Overhead Door of Daytona Beach is the better, and the best garage door company in Volusia County, and we're lucky to have the owners, Jeff and Zach Hawk, here. Please give them a shout at overheaddoordaytona.com. Please hit the subscribe button.